Hi coaches, wanted to put together a quick video for practice next week in case you need it for any of the drills. We're going to start with our normal 20 minutes of skating, and we are going to repeat what you guys did on Sunday. We're going to do the full ice tires. We want to continue to get the kids the stamina to go all the way down the ice since they're getting closer to full ice hockey. And also I realized that if we divide the ice this way, we can still stay in our two pods, so it's COVID friendly. So we'll do that both Saturday and Sunday, where we'll just work on different skills around the tires. Then we are going to do one set of 2 stations, 10 minutes each, and then the last 20 minutes we will do what we were going to do a couple weeks ago, 2 10-minute drills with everybody's on our team when we didn't have enough coaches, so hopefully we'll get that in. Okay, so the first drill we're going to do, it's working on some breakout skills, and then they get to finish it with a one-on-one. Okay, so I will show you it drawn out live, so if that helps. The first person in line will start with the puck. They're going to skate down, take a couple strides, and they're going to fire a pass across the coach. After they do that, they're going to keep working on getting kind of open out to the boards. Okay, so they can make a turn. They can either go butt to the boards or just power turn. It doesn't really matter at this age as much. Eventually, they'll want to open up, but sometimes it's easier if you're just turning up. Ultimately, they want their skates facing up. Coach will pass the puck back to them. Okay, so it's kind of a give and go, but it's a cross ice like that. The second player follows the first player, which isn't technically realistic, but it's going to get them to the inside, which is where we want them after that. Okay, because after this player gets the puck and they maybe take a stride or two, they're going to fire a pass across. So that pass right there is one that we want to work on. When the wing gets the puck, they're passing it to the center is kind of what we're reenacting. After that, though, they're going to go to a one-on-one. So the center person who got the puck, they're going to go straight up the ice with it and inside out towards the boards around their cone. And then they're just trying to ultimately get to the net to score. I forgot to put my net in. The person who had received and then given the puck to the other player on the boards, they now don't have a puck, so they become the defenseman. So after they fire that pass, they're going up as fast as they can around the near tire. They're going to try to pivot backwards and play them one-on-one facing them. Obviously, if there's a speed discrepancy, they may have to turn and plan going forwards, but the perfect world would be in the long run they can get up fast enough where they can play it backwards a little bit, even if they just go backwards and have to turn to forwards. Okay, so that's what person 1 and person 2 do in that drill. The other half at the same time is going to be a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 forecheck. Okay, so for the beginning, just go 2 players from the forward line, and then maybe partway through switch to a third person coming in. Otherwise, if it seems like 2 versus 1 is going just fine day 1, then you could always just add in the third forechecker day 2. All right, so here's how this one looks. We're going to have 2 different lines. Draw them up. My D are in red. It looks like my forwards in blue. All right, so they're going to start kind of tops of the circles. If you want to back them up to the blue, that's fine too. So the key is the kids on the boards are the defense, and then the kids in the middle are the forwards. Okay, so this is my forwards line. This is my D line. Coach is in the middle with the pucks and a net. Okay, so now both of these ideally would have a goalie, but obviously if we, well, some teams might have 2 goalies, but we don't have enough equipment for 4. So if we only have 1 goalie, you guys can decide which one you think, or they could switch partway through, but then you'd have to switch the nets. So we'll go a mite net and a mini net. All right, so coach starts the drill by dumping a puck to the corner, okay? The corner by the D, because the D's job is to go and get it. Now, most often, because of the direction they're going to probably go behind the net, or they could turn back if they want. It doesn't matter. The D's job is to try to skate the puck past probably wherever you have your lines. Okay, so my job as the defenseman is just to try to skate the puck over. We don't want them throwing it. We don't want them even making a pass because we want to give the forecheckers time to practice. That's the reason for that. All right, so the forecheck. The first person in line is considered our first forechecker. So what we really want the kids to understand is that if you are the first person in the zone, so the first forechecker, your job is to go take a good angle at the person with the puck. Okay, so if he goes here, and he can kind of pick, like if this guy's going this way, he's going to angle him this way. Okay, now we've worked on this in different ways throughout, but if you can get that person tied up and the puck pops loose, you've done your job. You're not necessarily trying to just take the puck away. It's probably the biggest mistake kids make. They just try to take the puck away, and when they do that, they swing and miss, and then the kid skates out. Okay, so we're trying to skate through their hands, they go this way, we're going to do that. They could, in theory, try to come in and angle them to the outside and do that. Okay, but no matter what, they're doing that. Now, the second person on a forecheck, they are going to support the first person. Okay, so the first person's job is to go attack that player and virtually, hopefully, pin them on the boards or knock the puck loose. The second player then, well, the way I had it drawn up isn't necessarily realistic, but I had them coming in. If they're coming behind the net this way, that's when they would kind of come here where I had them. Okay, but if they turn back, then X2 would kind of come in here to support that way. So really, X2's job is to make sure that no matter where X1 forces that defenseman, they're the support person. The second forward's job is to, when F1 does their job, get the puck. Okay, so if the first forward ties up that D, X2 should now attack and grab that puck. So that's what we do. And then, so the two blues then, hopefully they can get the puck because it is a 2-on-1, and when they get it, they try to attack the net. Okay, the defenseman, obviously, if the puck is taken away, they're trying to get it back and stopping the other team from scoring. Anytime the defenseman takes it away, again, their job is to skate it out to here. Now, day 2, or at the end of day 1, I said we were going to add in a third forward. Okay, so that doesn't change what X1 and X2 do. X1 still attacks the puck, okay, and tries to pin that defenseman. X2 supports X1, meaning they are going to kind of read and react is what I would usually say. You're going to watch what that X1 is doing, go to a proper position to try to get the puck once they do their job. X3 is going to be our high forward. So X3, when you add them in, their job is to kind of come to the top of the circles here. Okay, and again, they're just kind of keeping an eye on everything. Their job is, if the defenseman beats our forwards, so let's say they come in, now as an X3, I have to take a good angle and try to stop them. Okay, so I'm doing that. Otherwise, in all reality, if we do our job as X1 and X2, X1 and X2 do their job. Let's say they get the puck right here and come around. Now I'm X3, I should be crashing down the slot and hopefully getting a pass and being the #1 scoring option. Okay, so X3 is there just for kind of a security blanket at the top. They support as needed, but if we get the puck, then they help on the attack and it becomes a 3-on-1. So just a mini drill to kind of help start teaching some of those 3 forechecking roles of our forwards in a general sense versus a setup like 1-2-2 or 2-1-2 or whatever. All right, so once we've done those 2 drills, then like I said, we're going to go back to what I had a couple weeks ago. You're going to take your whole team, but we're going to go 3 nets. So again, we will get 2 regular nets out as well. Okay, so we'll have 3 nets. Oops. You want to put like at least a pad between, so that maybe a couple, so that they don't cross over. And then you're going to put 2 tires in each section. Okay, so we do need 3 coaches for this to work. All 3 coaches need some pucks. All right, the lines are up top. I'll draw it in a different color. So what happens is they get 3 shots. So they come down, coach makes a pass, catch, and shoot. We really want to work on just catching and shooting. We're trying not to stick handle in between. After they shoot, they're going to pivot backwards around the cone, forwards. Okay, so it's a little bit of skating and transition. So you're always facing the coach. As you come around the top again, you're going back forwards. Every time they come down the middle, you give them a pass and they shoot. The third one, then they transition around the other tire. It doesn't really matter which tire they go around first. Come in, shot, shoot. After they finish, let's get them going up the outside. Obviously, you could say boards for both these groups. The middle group, just tell them to go one way up the pads so that the next player can start right away. Okay, so again, just to draw it up one more time, straight down the middle, first shot. After they shoot, they always transition backwards around one tire. As they're coming in, they get a second one, catch and shoot. Then they transition around the third tire, catch and shoot. Okay. So again, pick whatever station the MIte net is at is the one the goalies should be at. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right, and then last but not least, we also drew this up not too long ago, but this is the 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Okay, so this is where you go behind your net, and I think what I said in the end, you're supposed to go every other side, but I do think sometimes we have to simplify just a little bit for these guys. All right, so maybe we start with the X's over here, and you'd want 2/3 of your kids on that side maybe, and then like 1/3 here, and I'd have them just play those jobs for a couple shifts maybe. So maybe we call these the D, these the forwards, okay? So I think I would maybe simplify. 2 forwards, both have to go behind the net, okay? So you go behind the net, coach passes a puck out. The D also has to go behind the net. They're coming up and they're transitioning back, okay? So it's just a 2-on-1. Now, after they play that rush, again, I think we'll try to just keep it simple. So it's a 2-on-1. Let's have the D go back to the D line, the 2 forwards go back to the forwards line. On the whistle, they get out of there, and then let's just repeat. So throw the puck to one side, 2 forwards go, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's kind of just a little bit longer 2-on-1. Again, I would start with a couple of kids or a third of your kids as the defenseman. And then after everybody goes a couple times there, rotate maybe a third of your kids here, these third go to forward. So they'll play forward 2/3 of the time and defense 1/3 of the time. We really do want to make sure that kids are playing all positions. So make sure you get that rotation in. All right, and then the second day or towards the end of the first day if you want, if you feel like it's going well with a 2-on-1, then we would switch it to a 3-on-1. Okay, and on 3-on-1, again, just a third forward would come behind the net. So that's the setup. Now, here are the key teaching points, okay? When it's a 2-on-1, okay, so first the defenseman, so maybe we can have one coach work with the D. We really want them to be getting up close to the players. Again, you can start to introduce that language of gap up, because what's going to happen is some kids are going to want to just kind of come here and get nervous and stand in front of the net, okay? So we are going to get them to gap up, which means that as they're coming around, you want to get close and then pivot backwards to play the rush. If I'm the puck carrier in a 2-on-1, okay, the biggest thing we want to talk to the kids about is not just going straight across from each other, okay? So if I'm here with the puck and my player's here, that makes it really easy on the defenseman. So we want to somehow create depth, okay? So if I'm driving wide with that puck, maybe this kid crashes the net harder and it gives me the angle this way to pass. Okay, maybe I'm faster than the other one. So if I've driven wide, this kid then probably stays behind so I can make a pass backwards. The biggest thing is you never want to be in a straight line across from each other, assuming the defenseman's doing their job. Now, if you beat the defenseman, then that's when you can come in kind of straight in a line because you don't have to worry about the D between you. Okay. Ideally, we are looking for these kids to make some passes in the 2-on-1. Okay, so getting their heads up, continuing to look for what is open. And what we're looking for with that is if I'm skating with the puck, when that D comes to me, okay, if they start cheating my way, that's when it's a good time to slide the puck over, especially in a 2-on-1. Because if the D commits to you, you know the other kid's open. And as much as I say we want to make sure that we pass if it's there, we do have to be careful with that a little bit. Because if my partner is here, and let's say the D just stays on them, I don't want a kid to think they have to pass as well. So it's kind of that fine line between the understanding that we should pass if it's there, but also if it's not, we don't have to feel obligated. So it is kind of a hard thing to teach at a young age because it is a slight difference. But if this defenseman takes that kid and I have a breakaway, I want to take that puck to the net. So that would be a time I go. Now, if your partner takes the puck to the net because the D takes you, I really want to teach that second player that your job is not done. And sometimes when we see one kid going, we kind of back off. We need to continue to talk about that second floor, that second person, if this kid's on a breakaway, to crash the net because so often a rebound pops out. Okay, so you're working as a team. Now, when the third person comes into play, the first two, again, same idea, right? So that's why we tier it the way we do. I'd get the puck, second one kind of cuts up the middle, creating some depth. But now the key is this one, the change would be I don't need to drop back. So this kid's going to drive. This kid's still going to drive, preferably faster so you could hit them back post. But because now that third person, they are going to be that drop pass. So now you have both options. So you can either hit the kid driving hard, you can hit the drop pass. You have two options now. The other twist we could add in, especially day 2, if we feel like they're ready for it, is we could have 2 defensemen go. Okay, we could have 2D come behind the net just to make it a little more challenging for those forwards when they have 3. I don't want to do a 2-on-2 though. I always want the forwards to have at least 1 extra, if not 2 extra people, because I want to be teaching these skills of how you can use, we call this our attack triangle, right? Where we kind of place ourselves in a triangle so that we have multiple options. And again, once a shot is taken, teaching that we are going to that net for the rebound. All right. those are the big things. On Sunday, we will finish. We'll either go with just our team, the half ice, okay, so set it up going this way. Or depending on how it goes this weekend, we might switch it and play a full ice game at the end. We'll see. We have an extra 10 minutes that day. So, all right, thanks so much, and we will see you on Saturday.